Hi, everybody. Welcome to Shannon Q. I have a very special guest for you this evening. We have Nate from Nate Talks to You. I'm going to give him hello. We're going to give him an opportunity to introduce himself a little bit better in just a moment. Just a few housekeeping things. As always, be respectful to each other in the chat. There is a link to Nate's channel in the description. If for whatever reason you aren't sub to Nate, please go check out his content. And when you decide that you like it, please subscribe to Nate's channel. As always, I am garbage at monitoring the chat. I'm going to do my best. I have it open on the sidebar this time. Go me. I'm going to watch for super chats. If you have any questions, I will make sure that they are read. And yeah, so Nate, please introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about who you are and your channel.
All right. Well, hello, my name is Nathan, or Nate. Call me either one. My channel is Nate Talks to You, and on there I just talk about whatever interests me at that point in time. So a lot of my content nowadays, I like talking about stuff involving science or religion. I have a series called Christian Logic Fail, where I debunk different Christian arguments from people like Joshua Fierstein. I have videos called like Muslim Logic Fail, where I debunk, arguments for, so-called miracles of Allah. And I also have a series called Bullshit Busted, where I debunk common conspiracy arguments out there for things like chemtrails and whatnot. And I have a new video coming out pretty soon about a guy called Shane Dawson, a very popular YouTuber, because I've gone through his archive of content, and he's made quite a few videos promoting very, very ridiculous conspiracy theories, including Flat Earth, which we'll be covering today in the stream. So that's what I'm all about.
All right. And before we get into all of the fun Shane Dawson stuff, and just for the record, I didn't know who Shane Dawson was until Nate introduced me, or which was just about, I don't know, 5 minutes ago. So I'll be discovering all of this in real time. So you might get to see some of that register on my face. So I apologize ahead of time for that. But we were having a little discussion about how much fun we were having on Twitter earlier. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, there's a link to my Twitter handle in the description. I'll put Nate's down there after this. I don't have yours there yet, Nate, but it's Nate Talks to You on Twitter. I'm pretty sure is your handle.
Yeah, it's all the same. All Nate Talks to You.
Yeah, so I encountered an interesting Christian apologist today. His name, or yesterday actually, going into today, his name is Master Apologist. And Nate came across some of our interactions today and was asking me some questions and thought that it might be of interest to some of you guys. So I thought that we'd do a little bit of a quick rundown of what's going on there. So essentially there is this gentleman whose name is Master Apologist on Twitter, and he has spent the last several days just posting what I think he might think are jokes, but they're really just sort of horrible tropes and vitriolic nasty things about atheists, then simultaneously has been challenging any atheist to a debate. But after he challenges them to the debate, he puts down some ridiculous stipulations, and if the atheist does not agree to it, or even in one instance a polytheist, my friend Ocean, who happens to be a polytheist, if they don't immediately agree to the stipulations, he accuses them of being afraid of him and then declares victory. So I employed a strategy of preemptively agreeing to all of his stipulations, one of which was that he had to have a friend, it had to be on a channel of his choice, he had to choose the topic, he had to choose the time. I agreed to all of those stipulations. And he backed out by saying that he does not debate girls.
You mind if I screen share it all, Shannon?
Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
If I can find this.
I didn't realize you were that prepared, but yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually screenshotted the entire conversation, but man, this guy, I mean, if you look at him, I think that it might just be more of a fear of girls in general. I mean, if you look at kind of got the typical, incel look going on. So I don't debate girls, and he has a Patreon apparently.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he tries to fancy himself as being this great Catholic knight, but this is what we're dealing with right here. And he has a Patreon. No one supports him, surprise, surprise, but that was quite interesting.
Yeah, I don't really want to. Everybody looks different, so I don't really want to go after what he looks like, but I really believe that he is employing a dramatically poor strategy. If he wants anybody to take him seriously, the way to be taken seriously is not to insult your potential interlocutors and provoke them into having a debate with you only on your terms and then be all bluster and bravado. The fact that I agreed outright to all of his stipulations and he followed up by being outwardly misogynistic is troubling in my mind.
That's the thing. At that point, I mean, in general, I'm not going to mock a person's appearance, but when they're a piece of shit, when they're a misogynist, I don't give a shit. I'll make fun of you all I want at that point. All
respect. All right. Okay. Well, to each their own. You may do as you choose. I choose to not, because hey, I've had my fair share of people make commentary on my appearance. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, he was outwardly just he was being a dick. He was being a dick. I'm not afraid to say that because he was being a dick. And yeah, he's declared that he's won 400 debates by knockout because nobody would agree to his stipulations, and I agreed to his stipulations, and he's still.
I have won more internet points than you have.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. All right,
so anyway, we can go on to the topic of Shane Dawson now, if you like.
Yeah, I'm moderately afraid. I'm a little scared, but all right, let's do it. Let me know when I need to screen share you so that you can show me what this is all about. Did you want to give kind of a preamble to what we're looking at initially?
Yeah, so a bit of background on Shane Dawson. He's been around for a very long time on YouTube, a very popular YouTuber. I think he began like 2009 or whatever, and in the beginning, a lot of his content was more like, parody songs and sketch comedy videos and kind of harboring a very young following, which he still has today. But then at some point, he began transitioning over to making videos about conspiracy theories, subliminal messages, and doing these like documentaries on different other popular YouTubers. And his most recent one was about the guy Jake Paul, or the different Paul brothers out there. So at the beginning of his documentary on Jake Paul, he was playing around with the potential idea of Jake Paul being a sociopath. And he kind of, danced around it for a bit during the first 3 episodes. And at some point, he brings on his one friend, a so-called therapist called Katie Morton. Okay. And in there, you wouldn't think that a therapist would use terms like creepy or disgusting or scary to describe sociopathy.
No. And, oh, my gosh.
Like, can you tell if you're a sociopath? And she's like, oh, you can feel them.
So what? No. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry. Did we? Okay. Wow. All right.
But this is kind of, Shane Dawson's bread and butter. It's very sensationalized content. So to give an idea of just how bad like this sociopathy commentary was in their documentary series, I'll pull up a clip right here if that's cool.
Yeah, sure. I'll white box you so that you can present your.
Switch over my audio to get this captured.
Sure. Yeah, perfect. And you'll have to screen share too. Everybody gets to look at Nate. Oh, now it's me.
Okay, I think we're good. Ready?
Yeah. Is this her?
Yep, this is her. This is Katie Morton.
Okay, let's hear what you say.
Family therapist.
This is Katie Morton, a YouTube content creator and family and marriage therapist who creates videos surrounding mental health topics. Recently, she was met with massive backlash after her collaboration with the most popular personality on the platform at the moment, Shane Dawson.
I just want to take the time to address all the hate and confusion.
Where the two of them sat down to discuss the topic of sociopathy and whether or not a very controversial YouTuber, Jake Paul, was in fact a sociopath. The people who voiced their concern about Katie's involvement in this video thought that she spoke extremely unprofessionally.
Creepy. It's so creepy. It's like, we're going to take a shower after this.
Didn't understand the topic she spoke about, stigmatized mental health, and provided harmful misinformation to the now 19 million viewers who saw this since last week. In this video, I'm going to explain why and how this is the case.
I'm sorry, that was completely not my intention. My intention was to educate you.
She tried to justify those comments based on her thought that these people don't care. To say that they don't care at all is wrong according to the research.
So the feeling, including empathy, is still there. It's just more of an emotional dysregulation, disturbance, than it is a deficit.
That's like insulting someone in front of them, thinking that they don't understand your language. But guess what? They understand your language. qualifications come from. So I went on LinkedIn and quickly found her qualifications. Now, they all come from the University of Pepperdine. In any kind of psychological qualification or course, what you usually like to see in the description of that is this course is accredited by the APA, the American Psychological Association. Now, when they say that your course is accredited, that means it's seen internationally and within the USA as being up to scratch when it comes to psychological practice. 2 days ago, I sent an email to the University of Pepperdine as a prospective student. And this is what I said. My name is Darata, and I have been assigned to you as my designated enrollment officer. Since I am an international student who will need to take my qualifications back to Ireland at some point in the future, I'm wondering, is this course accredited by the APA? I've just received an email back from my inquiry about the accreditation of the courses on Pepperdine University. Hi there, thank you for your email. And to put it in a nutshell, no, it is not accredited by the APA.
So there you go. Shane Dawson gave a platform to somebody who didn't actually know what they were talking about, didn't have the qualifications to talk about sociopathy. And it was at that point that I decided to begin looking more into Shane Dawson's backlog of content, think, if he's getting this wrong, what else could I find on this channel? So then I came across more of the conspiracy content, and here we are now.
Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. So there's a couple things that I want to address. Right? So she described, she was essentially promoting a diagnosis of sociopathy for somebody that she had never interacted with, based on the characterization that they portray on a media platform. Is that fair to say?
She didn't actually diagnose Jake Paul in the series. The problem wasn't that she diagnosed him. It was that when she came on the show to explain how sociopathy works, a lot of what she said was simply untrue. It was misinformation about how sociopathy works. So that's going to confuse people that don't know anything about what sociopathy actually is and how it all functions.
So she was there in order to present herself as a professional. So exactly. He essentially, to give a description of what sociopathy is, with the purpose within this documentary of allowing the viewer to draw that tie potentially draw that tie between Jake Paul, who was the subject of this documentary, and that diagnosis without outwardly stating it. And she completely misrepresented what it was.
Yeah, so if you watch the documentary episode where Katie Morton makes her appearance on the couch and everything, Shane does this thing where he'll have all this like stock footage appear on screen saying, oh, if you're a sociopath, you're wearing a mask or whatever. And then he'll have images of like, blood and gore on screen, or like a person wearing like a clown mask or whatever. Just like these like weird, like Halloweenish stock footage things will appear to go along with what they're saying, to kind of sensationalize the topic at hand.
And sociopaths might be likely to manipulate you, but they wouldn't be likely to cause you any harm. Were they trying to conflate that with psychopathy?
I think they might have. I have to go over it again to just know exactly what they said. But the point being, they were saying untrue things about how sociopathy works. And it's also funny is that in the video, they're saying if you're a sociopath, you might use like, certain kinds of music to, lead a person's feelings in a certain direction. And yet in the very same documentary, Shane Dawson has like creepy music in the background. It's like you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot there at that point.
He's doing that. So he was simultaneously doing the very thing that he was trying to lead other people to believe that this person or these types of people would do. So
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay. So that's a lot to take in. That's incredibly dangerous. I have a passion for people not abusing or misrepresenting mental health disorders, because there's already strong stigmatization around people who have mental health issues. So I'm glad you came on and introduced me to Shane Dawson, or not. Maybe I'm not. I probably won't be once I look into it.
He had to apologize quite a bit after that video came out, because a lot of people came out on YouTube and said, this isn't right. This is unprofessional, what you're doing. So he had to like a big apology and have like disclaimers at the bottom of his videos, because I think he's more sorry that he got caught than it was that, he actually did the wrong thing in his content.
Interesting, because he probably wasn't even thinking about the effect that it might have. He was just thinking about portraying the message that he wanted to portray, obviously, or he would have gotten somebody who's got some actual qualifications to do a professional job of laying out what sociopathy actually entails. Like that, the gentleman that was in the video that you just showed actually did a decent job. The gentleman with the glasses, I'm not sure who he was, but like,
he explains in that video. He says that he's not actually like a licensed therapist either, but he says that he's going to school for it and everything, and even he knows that what Katie Morton was doing was unprofessional, despite his lower qualifications and even her. Yeah. But he also cites like an actual therapist in that video. He shows clip the guy with like the glasses and the goatee. That guy's he knows better than what Katie Morton was doing.
Yeah, and ethically, if you have a degree in psychology from an accredited institution, if you were to go, certainly you could only speak in generalities, and perhaps she was, I didn't see it, but even if you were speaking in generalities, you would not use leading words. Like there's an old analogy in psychology when it comes to using leading language. So there's it comes from an old study. They did a study that it was a written study, and in one group they got people to watch a video. They watched the same video, in both groups of a mild car accident. In one of the groups, they said, how fast was the car going when it smashed into the other car? And in the other group, they said, how fast was the car going when it bumped into the other car? And of course, the speed ranges were much, much lower in the bump group than they were in the high group, because you're primed, so you overestimate. So they teach us that study when they're talking to us about using leading language. You need to be very, very careful when you're having these types of discussions to not lead people into having an incorrect or negative viewpoint. So when you are speaking in generalities, ethically, if she took any courses on ethics or communication methodology, which you would have to if you were in any sort of clinical field, she would have had to have known that. She would have been going completely contra to every ethic that that's lose your certification level, especially in a public forum, speaking about mental health in that fashion. So I just want to get that out there. Like, don't listen to people like that. If somebody presents themselves as somebody who's qualified to speak on mental health and uses that sort of leading language, uses words that have a clear negative connotation, like icky or scary or disgusting, those people aren't professional. Even if they do have degrees, they're certainly not professional in their field. So take them with a grain of salt.
It's funny you mentioned the one car smashing paper. I actually read about that recently while doing research on my video that I'm going to be posting pretty soon about Shane Dawson, because he was promoting the idea of the Mandela effect. And I was going to use that paper to show how, your memory of a certain event can change by very minute things being tweaked in your mind to make you misremember things like that. So he was talking about like the Tootsie Roll catchphrase and everything, and I was like, your memory can change very easily due to different factors like that. So that's another.
Memory is incredibly malleable. People take for granted that their memory isn't malleable. It is. It's incredibly, incredibly malleable. It can be changed by influence, but even more so than your perception. You essentially people don't just take pictures of their perceptions and remember them forever. They're augmented by your previous history, by what you've been exposed to since. They're incredibly malleable. So don't take your memories for granted.
Yeah, by far the worst thing, which I wanted to show you, was his conversation with his brother, which is even more of a conspiracy theorist than he is. He talks to him, and they talk about, again, flat Earth and the moon landing being fake. So let me see if I can find him.
All right, I'll white box you again. I'm gonna do my best to not get mad. This stuff just agitates me so much.
Am I recording just fine?
Yeah, I can see your Google.
Yeah. Everything you know is a lie. Take the red pill.
What?
See how far the rabbit hole goes.
Oh, my bad. That's not him. Wrong video.
That is bananas.
Very close though.
Oh God. Oh no. Okay.
All right. So right off the bat, I just paused it right here at 26 and 51 seconds in.
Okay.
This is like a typical template from a Shane Dawson video.
Look at
Flat
the
Earth theory, all gritty. He has like the Illuminati eye.
Oh, God. Wow. Okay. Very, very balanced presentation. Okay. Wonderful.
Flat Earth, one of the most controversial theories of all time. And I'm going to be honest, I've never even looked into it because there's such a stigma around it.
We're going to talk about the flat earthers.
What is a flat Earth society, by the way?
People believe the Earth is flat.
Still?
Yeah.
That was a joke about the world being flat, right? Was it?
But I wanted to try something different and come up with a new segment for these conspiracy videos. I want to talk to somebody who believes in a crazy conspiracy theory, and they have to try to convince me to believe in it too. So I went to the biggest conspiracy theorist I know, my brother. Okay, I am here with my brother Jared, who might be an even bigger conspiracy theorist than me.
If that's even possible. But I'm trying.
So I want to talk to you about the flat earth theory because it's something that you kind of touched on and I always kind of like move on because I've heard it so much.
It is very crazy. In order for you to even start to take it seriously, you have to put yourself in the mind frame of people that believe in the flat earth. And why would they even want to believe in the flat earth?
Well, you're saying
why?
I'm open to the idea. I don't know. For me.
Oh, by the way, Shannon, like, let me know whenever I should pause it. So if you want to jump in here and give any commentary.
No, I'm good right now. I'm letting my thoughts ruminate.
Okay. Pressing on.
Let's do it.
It's hard for me to pinpoint what I believe. So I'm open to both.
Same.
So, okay, pause. Did he just say it's hard for him to pinpoint what he believes when it comes to flat Earth?
Yeah, pretty much. He's like a borderline flat earther is how I describe him. Like borderline is like playing around with it, but doesn't outwardly say, "Oh, by the way, I'm a flat earther." But he's kind of like, presenting all the arguments for it.
Oh my dear God! Why does it say it sounded like a bisexual thing on the screen right now?
I think that's like the camera guy talking. They had like dub it in so you could tell what he was saying. I don't know. I'll have to keep playing it to.
Oh dear God! Okay.
There's also a skeleton in the background for some reason.
Oh, there is too. I didn't even notice him. Oh wow. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Ah,
Oh, I gotta.
flat earth with that round earth, that makes sense. Okay. I'm a weekend flat earther.
Okay, so we have to be in the mindset, right?
Yeah, so you got to be in the mindset. So you have to think about the foundation of it. All the information that we get about the Earth, about space, the moon, and all these things comes from NASA.
That's pause. That's not even true.
Yeah, there are different space stations all over the globe. I mean, there's one in Japan, I believe, maybe one in China as well. There's Russia.
Russia got up there first, and there's so many satellites now. There's so much satellite, like Google. Oh my gosh! Wow.
So right off the bat, I mean, he's just like spewing out pure bullshit, but it just gets worse and worse over time. Now there's one in here that I would describe as like maybe even being racist. This you'll see what I'm talking about as it goes on.
Oh, Nate.
This comment about rap music that was pretty racist if you ask me, but we'll go to that later.
Oh dear God. Okay.
Already he's saying a bullshit.
Everything you've ever seen is given to you by NASA. So NASA is also associated with the moon landing being a hoax.
One small step for man. They are some of the most famous images in history. Why are there no stars in the night sky? Why is the American flag waving here when there was no air to cause any breeze?
There are moments where the crosshairs lie behind equipment.
Look, guys fall forward and looks like they get yanked up by wires. Reflected in the visor is a mysterious object.
I'm sure that's something that everyone at this point has heard of, right? All the pictures that they take of the Earth are composite images. So no images that we see are actually ever a camera from real far away looking at the Earth. Wait, what do you mean? They're all composite images because they can't put it all in one shot. So they have to go around the Earth and take a bunch of pictures and then they piece it together.
International Space Station residents only see.
Now, yeah, this part is actually. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna. That is true, but there are images of the Earth from farther back, like the Carl Sagan's pale blue dot image. Although I suppose you can't really see that it's the Earth. And oh wow.
Well, thankfully I have links prepared to show the framed images. But yeah, I mean, because the satellite's only so close to the are so far away from the Earth. They're not far away enough. They have to do this like scanning effect to create a fake model of the Earth. But back during the Apollo era with NASA, they did get far away enough that they could get a full-fledged image of the Earth. So here's the first one. I think this was from '67, I believe.
Okay.
Yep. There we have like an eclipsed Earth right there.
Okay. Oh,
Next one from '69, on the moon.
Oh, I love that picture.
And one more, I think, from '72. And there's a very big shot of the globe right there. So I mean, yeah, it's sure there are some fake images, but there are legit ones as well. But the flat earthers will use that argument to try to imply that, oh, it's all fake, therefore everything is made up. And going back in the video a little while ago with some of the arguments from those clips that he played, for example, this one about the crosshair being behind the image. I mean, look at how much light is bouncing off that space device right there. If you were to put your finger in front of the sun or in front of a light bulb, I mean, the strength of that light will go around the edge of your finger and make your finger appear to vanish. Or if you've looked through, branches of trees, a few of them will appear to, have vanished because the light is blinding them and going around them. So that doesn't mean that the crosshair is like physically behind that object right there. And they mentioned the flag waving as well. Mythbusters debunked this one a long time ago, and they showed that when a flag is in a vacuum, it would actually wave more because there's no air to prevent it from moving around more.
This flag waving test in a vacuum. Okay, planting it on the surface of the moon, and stop.
It's moving a lot. It's moving a lot.
I mean,
Still moving.
That's awesome. There you go.
Without drag or friction from the air, the momentum of Grant's planting action lasts for a surprising amount of time.
It would be mistaken for a breeze.
Yeah.
But it's lower air resistance.
So there you go. But Shane will just play this big compilation of clips that, oh, sorry about that. We'll show these clips to kind of like lead you in that direction.
Oh,
but he'll never give the full context behind it.
Street conflict
hairs lie
the wires.
I'm sure images, so no image. They're all composite images because they can't just get it all in one shot.
Space station residents only see about 3% of Earth's surface at any one time.
If you zoom in on them, there's cloud formations that repeat several times, which how could that ever really happen? They're just copying and pasting things.
Look at his face there.
Like, what? I can't believe that.
I can't think of any way to explain this stuff.
What a compelling argument. I never looked at it that way.
Because there's a very slight gap in between each orbit. It is Photoshopped, but it's has to be.
That's one thing that builds distrust, because you have to have distrust of who's giving you your information to feel like maybe the flat Earth is visible, right?
It is Photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Well, and even the moon landing is one of those things where, like, maybe 20 years ago, everybody thought, oh, that's stupid, that's crazy. But now, I feel like kind of everybody's down for the moon landing.
I mean, they say all
everybody? Did you say everybody is down for the moon
Everyone's
landing?
down for it.
Oh my
lost.
Tapes. They might have been taped over. It's not a cassette. It's not an old mixtape from college.
We've been unable to track it down.
And as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
It's incredible that we can keep track of Egyptian pots from 2,000 years ago, but we lose tapes made only 40 years ago.
So yeah, and that clip talking about how they taped over the original moon landing clips, but that was because at that time, to save money, they would reuse tapes over and over again. Here's an article from Reuters that talked about this. I'll find the actual point where they talk about it in here. Yeah, they're part of a batch of 200,000 tapes that were degaussed, erased, and reused to save money. The good thing, though, is that they got copies from the CBS archives, which are also pretty high quality, and now they've actually enhanced the tapes from CBS to look better than they were back in the day. So that explains that. But the implication with that clip that Shane is showing is that, oh, it was deliberate to, hide away the evidence of it being faked.
Oh my dear Lord in heaven. This is why I avoid flat Earth, because it hurts my head. Like even if you granted that the moon landing was fake, like let's just grant that for the sake of argument, like basic trigonometry tells you that like the model doesn't make any sense. The model makes absolutely no sense. How do you explain, like, where does the sun go, for example? How do you explain eclipses? How do you explain
it's a giant disk lamp? It just flies around.
What is it hanging off of? If it's hanging in the sky, like why is it different times? It would have to go circular, wouldn't it? Like it can't just swing back and forth, or there's always going to be a dark part of the Earth. Who hangs it in the sky? What is it hanging off of it? Why don't planes run into it?
But this is the thing that these people have about flat Earth and other topics too, is that they can just spew out a dozen different arguments for the Earth being flat, and yet it takes all of this time to do research and like show why they're wrong. And when you're done debunking them, they're already on to 10 or 1,000 more arguments for their claim. It's like it's an endless battle with these people, and they can dancing back and forth to different bullshit.
But what about gravity? Like, how do you explain gravity? Like,
we're just moving up. They'll say that.
We're just moving. Well, then why aren't we hitting the sun and the moon?
I guess it's just like they can make up anything they want,
Like if they're hanging in the sky, why don't we hit them? Why don't we, if we're moving up, shouldn't we be moving towards the stellar bodies? Why haven't we crashed into any of them?
They're like creationists. They make it up as they go along to keep reaffirming what they already believe. Evidence does not matter here. It's just twist information to suit what you already believe in.
Oh, dear heaven.
So we lose all the footage, and all the technology was destroyed.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology.
And then did you take...
Now, I know that clip right there sounds bad, but there's actually more context behind it. So there's an article from Forbes where a NASA scientist actually contributed to this conversation. And he explained how these different rockets had so many parts, and they had all these blueprints for different parts of the rocket, and how when the Apollo era was over, a lot of that information was scrapped. It was no longer, like valid blueprints anymore. It was outdated information. So a lot of things like models and such got destroyed because they were taking up space. So, now that the Apollo era is over, we have to rebuild all of that stuff from scratch, because if we were to do it now, it would be so obsolete. But the implication with that clip is that it was all deliberately destroyed. Yet again, they're making that argument again. But yeah, I'd recommend going through this article, and they explain quite thoroughly, why we can't go to the moon anymore.
Oh gosh, I don't like Shane Dawson.
But I mean, personally, I don't have an issue with people talking about these arguments and everything, as long as they show the counter for, why there's missing context for their arguments and everything. But Shane will just gladly give a platform to this stuff. And then next thing you know, I mean, what is the takeaway from this kind of video other than, oh, well, this is all pretty compelling information, especially when you're a young kid watching this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And susceptible, and young kids idolize their YouTube heroes.
I mean, I know firsthand, when I was about 14 years old until I was about 15, there was a point in time where I was heavily invested in the whole Illuminati conspiracy stuff. I was 9/11 truther. I was Vaxxer. Yeah, for a while there, I was a fan of people like Alex Jones. I avidly listened to him. I idolized him. I wrote a paper on Alex Jones when I was a freshman in high school.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Nate, oh my gosh, I would love to read that paper.
But thankfully, I began to self-reflect and realize that I'm acting kind of paranoid now. I feel very anxious. I'm kind of isolating myself from people. So I just took a step back and said, you know what, this isn't healthy behavior. I need to reevaluate my opinion. So I just kind of took a break from the conspiracies for a while, and then I came back several years later with a more critical mind and began hearing the other side of the story. And I began to evaluate the evidence and realize that, there's actually a good reason for why these things are happening. It isn't all a conspiracy.
Wow.
And that's why I'm no longer on this bandwagon. But I imagine I imagine if I kept at it, I could have ended up being a flat earther too.
Oh my gracious. God, don't say that. I like you, Nate. Don't say that.
Science consideration. Science only works if you have one magical event that no one has to actually have proof for. Everything's
there's proof of the Big Bang. There's the different scans of the air to show the energy from where it all came from. It's like, what are we talking? I like he's so confident the entire time too.
So that is bananas to me. So he essentially just said, he really just said that you can't trust science because it's predicated on something that we don't understand.
He even pulls the "only a theory" line later on in here.
Oh, I hate that. Only a theory is fantastic. If I were ever to one day develop a scientific theory, oh my gosh, that's the pinnacle of what you want to do. Like, so clearly he doesn't. People conflate the colloquial version of theory. Like, if you say, "Oh, that's an interesting theory," in casual conversation, it means a very, very different thing than when you're saying, "Oh, the theory of gravity," or "the theory of relativity," or "the theory of evolution."
But yet in this video, he tries to argue that a conspiracy theory, like the flat Earth theory, is equivalent to the theory of gravity or the theory of relativity because they both have theory.
No.
The Big Bang theory. Something the size of a pinhead, two atoms connecting, blowing up, and creating everything that's in this universe.
In a millionth of 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 a second, it went from a size smaller than an atom to bigger than a galaxy.
Right, and then Einstein thought of the theory of gravity, which is just a theory.
He did not think of the theory of gravity. Einstein didn't think of the theory of gravity. This guy's a dumbass.
So now we have a disbelief for these things. The last thing that you have to think about is religion. So
how do we jump from scientific theories to religion? Like, it's a big non sequitur.
The Bible, it talks about the sea, there's the sky, there's the firmament. With the
I'm going to kill myself.
There's a firmament, so the dome shaped, the heavens are above it. And then it talks about how the earth expands to its four corners. So that also would make you feel like there could be a flat.
The earth doesn't have corners. Oh my Jesus. What? Why?
I just think how he's so lighted up, like, whoa, this is making sense, man.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Why do you have to think about the Bible to begin with? Why?
Shouldn't we have to demonstrate the Bible is credible in the first place before we jump over to that topic?
Like, so in essentially the same paragraph of speech, he said, we can't trust science because it's based on something that's just a theory, and then says, but look at the Bible. It's reason to believe the Bible. Don't trust all of science. Forget that, because it's based on something we only have a tertiary understanding of. However, look at the Bible. It proves the earth might be flat because it says the earth has four corners, even though we clearly know that it goddamn doesn't.
But Shannon, look at this. Over 21 million views, over 21 million views, over 1 million likes. This is why I want to see more skeptic atheist YouTubers covering this kind of stuff, because it's like untapped bullshit. Debunked.
Untapped bullshit. Oh my God. Nate. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, this guy has so many, like, he's worse than a flat earther because he's making them seem as though their theory is plausible and has some traction, even just with the looks on his face and the fact that he's giving a platform where he presents why they think the way that they do without countering it. Essentially, his entire counter is just his stupid face looking like, oh my God.
Pretty much.
Oh my God.
This is why I was saying, is like at the beginning, everything you know is a lie. Red pill. He looks kind of like him, minus the haircut.
I know, and the shitty face between. Oh God! All right, fine, let's do it. Whatever.
Is that we are not on a ball. We're not on a sphere. We're on something that's flat. A flat plane, a planet, right? Is just the word plane with a T. And
that's so insightful.
ice wall that's around all of the continents. So instead of us being able to go around the world, it's all enclosed by Antarctica's ice wall. So the United Nations map is actually the flat Earth map model.
Well, it's for a flag. It's going to be flat for the flag model.
Oh my God. I think the best argument so far, I might be a flat earther now because I never realized that planet was just plain with a T.
Ooh.
I'm a convert.
That's
it for me.
Debunked.
I just had an epiphany. I never looked at it like that.
It's just word games now.
It's just plain with a T. I mean, look at the Bible. It says that there's 4 corners. None of us can trust science. Clearly, NASA didn't even go to the moon. And planet is
the whole ice wall arguments. Like, these people have never actually been to the so-called ice wall, and yet they're so sure that's how it works.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They have no photographic evidence to back up that assertion that there's like some kind of like big wall, like a pool holding in all the water. They just go along with it because, I guess, faith.
I have Canada. I'm from Canada. I have friends who work in the Coast Guard who actually go ice breaking up in the Arctic. There's no wall. There's no wall. Like there's no wall. It's not there. It's just a bunch of ice. But it's not in a wall. It's all on the ground.
Well, maybe they're part of the big government plot too. You never know.
Oh,
They're
yes.
FBI agents.
All the Coast Guard guys I know, they'd be all about that. I've been drinking with them. Let me tell you, if there was a wall up there and the Earth was flat, they'd be talking about it.
Oh yeah, when I got on that ice wall, a bunch of the ocean water came out.
Yeah, buddy, could you believe it? I got up there, it's just fucking wall. Just a wall, bud.
They have actual borders around this, and then you see all the continents spread out. So if this was a globe, they spread it out like this. So that's the model that they believe, and there's an Arctic ice wall around it. And one reason this gets perpetuated and people think it's valid to think Antarctica is the barrier is because in the late 50s, there was a treaty signed by almost all the major countries of power to not let anybody go into Antarctica.
Okay, now that's actually bullshit. Well, there was a treaty made in 59, but it didn't say that you can't go there. It says the exact opposite, actually.
It says that everybody has rights to it and that it belongs to no nation.
Treaty state observers have free access, including aerial observation. Allows for good jurisdiction over observers and scientists by their own states. So where's the part about you not being allowed to go there?
It doesn't exist. Wow, does this guy check anything before he puts it on? He doesn't. He can just put on whatever.
Fact checking.
Whatevs.
Make the YouTube money. Forget the research part.
That's for people that give a shit about what they're putting out into the world, I guess.
Well, let's see. Discover Antarctica among the last year wilderness destinations on Earth. Set up, do a travel plan. This is PoseidonExpeditions.com. SwoopAntarctica.com. Yeah, they're really trying to hide Antarctica from you, aren't they?
Yeah, where you can sign up to.
You can tour there.
Penguins.
Expeditions.com. Let's see. With National Geographic, go on a ship, with wildlife, take pictures. Oh yeah, you can't go there apparently though.
No.
So if you try to get close to Antarctica, they're gonna tell you, get the hell out of here. You could go on little explorations of it, but nothing without a bunch of people monitoring you, right? And planes don't fly over.
Oh my God, stop it. Why wouldn't you want people to monitor you? Like, you think that they're just gonna drop you into Antarctica? You think a plane
by yourself, the penguins?
It's guided tours. Who would just go to Antarctica? That's bananas. You can't. Oh my gracious. So that's the logic, because they have guided tours and there's tour guides on the guided tours, and people aren't just flying into Antarctica and just wandering around. Guided tours equals cover up. Oh my gosh. I hope if a flat earther had enough money, why wouldn't they just fly to Antarctica? Like, just fly to Antarctica. No one you can probably get a flight there. Go to Antarctica.
Do a fundraiser, go on the tour, then run away, and then go find that end of the wall.
Take that guy's rocket. That guy, remember that guy? Was he in Nevada that flew that made that homemade rocket?
I remember hearing about that a while ago. Like, did that ever actually take off, or what happened with that guy?
It crashed, I think. It crashed. But it did take off.
Government lasers got to him. Got too close to the dome.
That's got to be it. He probably hit it and then fell.
No one's flying directly over it. They always like there was an airplane that was going from the Philippines to Los Angeles, which should be a straight route, Philippines to Los Angeles. Mid-flight, a woman, her water broke. So they had to make emergency landing. They could have either just turned around or kept going to Los Angeles. Somehow they ended up in Alaska. So the flight plan to get them from Philippines to Alaska, if you put it on a flat Earth map, it's a straight line from the Philippines.
But yeah, the Earth isn't flat. That's why that doesn't work.
Oh my.
Here we have from USA Today, Ask the Captain. And he explains there, because of the curvature of the Earth, it's actually shorter to fly at that angle than to go in a straight line on the flat map, like they're showing there. I think even Cool Hard Logic covered this argument in one of his testing flatards videos.
Wouldn't planes kind of debunk, like I just flew to Calgary and back. It takes me longer to get to Calgary than it takes to get from Calgary back to Halifax, and that's because the Earth turns and there's a jet stream. There's a reason that it, yeah, okay, fine.
It's also another factor too, is like wind patterns in the air. Maybe because of the wind going in one direction, it's actually more convenient to try to avoid that wind, so that way you can go a lot faster in the air. So
or to follow it, like you follow the jet stream generally, like in Canada, like because it carries you more quickly if you're following the air currents as opposed to flying against them. You hit turbulence when you fly against them. If you follow the jet stream, then you're gonna go.
But will they cover that in this video?
No, because
they'll never cover that aspect of it.
Oh my god, look how huge Australia is compared to like Russia. Look how tiny Canada is. So would that have to be to skip? So they literally would think that that Australia is like bigger than Russia.
Apparently.
And almost all of Asia. Okay. All right.
I cannot wrap my head around how somebody can be this stupid. I mean, if you have like a high school education, you should know better.
Really? Yeah. Like, and it just, oh my gracious. Oh, this is why I avoid flat Earth, because it hurts me. Like it hurts my feelings.
But it just gets worse from here on out. So be prepared.
Oh, good. All right. Let's.
But when you put it on a globe, it makes no sense, right?
That's not a globe. That's a flat plate.
Distractions from the truth
that we live in. Let's really analyze this. We live in a world that is all based on material things. Materialism really is what controls the country. Money, really it's about sex. It's about objects.
This is my shoe closet.
I see it is my closet. Everything here will be designer. Gucci, Louis Vuitton.
You know who that is, by the way, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, there's this one girl called Little Tay. I guess like her mother used to like sell houses to people, so she had access to big mansions and such. And then she had her daughter, Lil Tay, she calls herself, like going to these homes and pretend they're her own. And that kind of a big viral hit a while ago.
That is creepy. And okay, that is.
But it's weird. Like Shane's just using clips from movies and commercials and music videos to prove that the world is material. Well, the world is actually material, literally speaking, but we all care about is objects and money.
And also, okay, like so, I have two things right now. First, when they said if the world was round, the detour to Alaska wouldn't make sense. But then they showed a 2D flat map with the detour, so that doesn't make any sense. And second, they said the world is material, and then said in our country, America isn't representative of the entire world. Not every country is a capitalist country, and you know that's a bold assertion to say that everybody else thinks in the fashion that you think. You're a corner of the world. You're not the entire world, and this would have to be.
You're all a bunch of sheep.
Sheeple, goddamn sheeple. Like it would have to be a worldwide conspiracy too. That's the thing that baffles me. Every government agency, even ones that hate each other, would all have to work together in order to convince everybody the world was flat. Like what would they have to mutually gain? Whether they would cooperate on this one thing, but almost nothing else.
That's I don't get. I mean, they'll seem to like believe like very conflicting ideas at the same time. That America's at war with Russia, or we're at war with China, and yet for some reason we all agree. Let's cover up this thing.
Yeah.
Reasons.
Because materialism, I guess.
I don't know how that links, but okay.
It's about egos and how people feel about themselves. All marketing is based off of fears and compulsions to make us be driven to want to do things, right? So our whole life is filled with billboards and advertisements and commercials, and it keeps us very occupied on that surface level of life, right? And it makes it easier to control you. Music is a huge influence on the culture. We had gangster rap 20 years ago.
Oh, here it comes. Okay,
What
so
does that have to do with anything?
We had gangster rap 20 years ago.
So
and then all of a sudden the prison system started filling up even faster.
Oh, you asshole.
So there you have it. It's because of gangster rap that the prison system got flooded.
Oh, and what the hell does that even have to do with flat Earth? Are you serious?
Yeah, we just made like a big swerve talking about materialism and gangster rap. How does this relate to the flat Earth? It's just like, let's explain some stuff, okay?
Oh my.
I mean, do you not think the war on drugs and the Reform Act in '84? Do you not think these might have played roles in the incarceration rate going up over time? I mean, this is documented stuff. We know why the incarceration rate went up. There's no evidence that gangster rap was the cause of it.
Gangster rap.
There's more gangster rap now than back then too.
Oh my Jesus, H. Murphy. Okay, fucking all right. I knew I was gonna get. I didn't know it was gonna swerve that far to holy fuck, you're an asshole though. That is a hard right turn to what the hell is wrong with you.
Welcome to the world of Shane Dawson.
I don't even like it in this world. I don't like it. I don't want to be in this world anymore. But
nowadays, with people rapping about Xanax and opiates, so obviously the kids now are putting themselves into a deeper slumber. Like they want to dumb us down and just make us robotic, just to make us feel like just pawns in a chess game. Think about like marijuana. We live in a world where there's a seed that if you put it in dirt in front of your house, you could possibly go to jail.
Arrested for selling.
And that's horrible. And thankfully, we're beginning to change that in this country.
That's legal here. I can buy it at a store down the street. I'm in Canada.
We made mistakes, but we're correcting them. That doesn't mean there's a big conspiracy going on, though.
And why does that? I still don't understand the connection to flat. Like even if you grant him all of these stupid arguments, it's still to what end would convincing people that the Earth is flat make them more malleable to sell crap to and placate?
Well, at the very end, he kind of argues for why the government would want to have the flat Earth be covered up, but it doesn't make any sense either way.
No, what? I was certain it was going to be the most cogent argument I've heard all day, but all right, if you say so.
I guess he's saying that if you smoke weed or if you take drugs, you'll believe in the flat Earth. I don't know.
Okay.
Brownies laced with pot. Jacob Aurora now faces a possible life sentence.
You were sentenced to life without parole for possession of marijuana.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
They don't allow you to do psychedelic drugs. They make you feel like those are the devil and those are evil. But things like alcohol are legal. Prescription drugs are legal. Things that are really killing people. So they want to suppress us.
Wait, you think weed and like mushrooms and stuff? You think for the most part all that's illegal
because things like weed or things like mushrooms, they expand your mind and they really put you into the universe and it puts you into perspective.
Holy fuck!
Life is all about. For instance, there's a drug DMT. 90% of people that smoke this drug, when they first smoke it, they hear in their head, "We're so happy you found this technology." Oh my God! Right?
Oh.
So we said like how many people that smoke DMT, if they take DMT, you'll hear a voice in your head. It's like, well, no shit, it's a psychedelic. But as for that percentage exactly, like citation needed, please.
Yeah, that's good. That's ridiculous. I also don't like that they said that he just threw out there prescription drugs are killing people. I don't like that.
Let me see the citations. Let's see the citations in this video. Let's see. We have a link to Shane's Instagram, or his brother's Instagram, his brother's conspiracy channel. He has more on there. A link to his Amazon.com store for his hoodies.
That's nice.
More podcast stuff. Great citations right here.
So none. So zero.
Nope.
So
Category comedy. I agree with that, actually. So yeah,
Wow.
no actual links to anything that would, like show that what he's saying is true. It's all just, made up as they go along.
I'm going to stop us for 1 second. I got a super chat, and I always make sure I read them because people are kind enough to donate to the stream. So thank you, Wellington. Wellington Smith says, Shan, please talk about why people feel the need to reject accepted science and make an out group. The psychology of choosing to be the other. Okay, that's a fantastic question, Wellington. Thank you very much for sending it. So, Nate, if you don't mind me taking a second to answer that.
Yeah, go ahead.
There could be a number of reasons why somebody would do that. One would be that they feel as though they were rejected by a group. I'm going to just speak in generalities because I don't know anybody really personally that holds these beliefs, but one reason could be, there could be a multitude of reasons. One could be some sort of psychosis, which isn't healthy. Another reason could be, and a common reason would be rejection. If you're consistently rejected by what you see as the in-group, finding another group where you can commiserate, that you have counterparts that will commiserate with you and kind of reinforce and accept you in, allows you an opportunity to feel acceptance where you haven't felt acceptance elsewhere. So you may be more susceptible. Another reason would be if you have an ideological perspective that is intrinsic in you. If you have an ideological perspective that causes conflict with you accepting some things that are widely accepted, it may finding sort of alternative venues to find reinforcement for that ideology so that you can keep holding to it are a really plausible reason why somebody would believe something that outwardly to most other people wouldn't seem to be logical or incongruence with reality. So, I think Wellington just said something else to me, but I can't see it because I clicked on a thing. More content like this talk, short explanations and complex issues. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Wellington. And thank you so much for the super chat. I hope that helped to explain it and answer your question. It's a complex question. That would be a whole video actually. So maybe I will do one day, Wellington. And thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll
Sorry,
say,
Nate.
as a former conspiracy theorist, what kind of led me down that path was conspiracy theorists. Some of them are very talented at spinning a story in a way that seems plausible on paper. But when you actually begin to delve deeper into it and look at the evidence behind it, you realize that the evidence is very misleading. They're missing out important context, or they're just spinning information in a way to lead you down a certain path. And that's what happened with me. At 14 years old, naturally, I'm not going to know that much about science and, various topics about how politics work. So these ideas seem to resonate with me at that time. But now that I'm older and I can, do more thorough research on these topics, I realize that, oh, wait, this thing doesn't actually add up. This thing is untrue. And I think aside from that, it was also just when you're a conspiracy theorist, you feel like you're part of this elite, enlightened group of people that have secret knowledge that nobody else has access to. So I kind of felt like I was special because I was part of this in-group now.
Interesting. So that kind of made you feel as though it gave you sort of a false sense of superiority at the time because you felt like you knew some piece of information that other people weren't privy to.
You have the truth about 9/11, the truth about climate change, the truth about vaccines, and you feel like, all these people around you are all dumbed down. They're all, brainwashed by television. But somehow you 14-year-old boy, you have this, special knowledge because you watched a couple of YouTube videos or read an article on Infowars.com. So, you look foolish, but in your mind, you feel like you're, very intelligent because you read this bullshit online.
Interesting. I wonder what makes you susceptible to that kind of thing. Well, I suppose anybody could be susceptible to it if you feel as though the arguments are compelling enough and they're presented to you by people that you trust enough.
I mean, keep in mind these people also. I mean, a lot of conspiracy videos you've seen in this video, like the very deceptive editing, the creepy editing. I think that those like appealed to my emotions and my fear at that time. I mean, when I was growing up, I remember being, you know, very paranoid about different things, having a lot of anxiety, and I think that these videos about 9/11 and the Illuminati preyed on my anxiety and kind of got me to, you know, get wrapped into it.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Interesting. Okay.
Anyway, I'm just thankful that I'm no longer part of that, what you may even call a cult in a way. I think that there's a cult element to this type of stuff.
We are too, because now you're one of us. The good in group.
Anyway, though, I think at this point he begins to explain why the government would lie about the flat Earth and everything.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Am I ready? I'm not sure I'm ready. Maybe I'm, whatever. Let's just do it. let's see if I am.
Countdown for you.
Oh, God.
3, 2, 1.
So think about that. I mean, so they want to get you into something where they can completely control you. I mean, we're at the point now where they put little machines in your house to basically do everything for you. Where you have phones that listen on everything to tell you your next purchase that you want to make.
And then on my Instagram feed, a commercial for Triscuits popped up. You're listening.
They're listening in. I mean, they want to be able to go in your house and stock your groceries. That's true. That's just a test to see, are the people ready for that yet? Are they ready for us to go in their house and stock their fridge? Like,
the flat Earth kind of makes sense if you think the simulation theory is real. Why wouldn't the Earth be flat? Why wouldn't there be an endgame?
I like how he showed Minecraft evidence. I don't know what game this is right here, but it's fucking Minecraft.
Minecraft and the Matrix, functionally the same.
Oh boy.
Honestly, this feels real. The odds that we're in base reality is 1 in billions. I don't think I'm being played by somebody in a video game. But then people in video games don't generally think that.
He's like a genius, everybody trusts him, he created Tesla, all these things. Well, one thing that he did that like a lot of flat earthers felt like was a personal attack was when he sent that car into space with a camera, it showed that the Earth was round. And everybody's like, see, flat Earth is stupid. Elon Musk showed us that it's round. But in that video, there is a weird moment. It's like a glitch. And it's a moment where it kind of looks like a green screen. You see the Earth behind the car, and then it's a studio, and then it's back.
Okay, so covering that, yes, there was a point during the live stream of the car being in space where you see this background right here. What you are looking at was this metallic capsule they kept the car in before opening it up to show the outer world around there. So here's a clip of it, and I'll play in slow motion to kind of show you what's going on here. So yeah, at this point, now notice that the lighting on the space helmet changed. If this were some kind of green screen, you wouldn't see the lighting on the actual helmet change. You'd see the background change, but that wouldn't affect the lighting on things in front of the green screen. So for this to be a green screen, that doesn't actually add up. But if you play in slow motion, you'll see the doors of this capsule open up. It isn't a green screen flickering on and off, it's a door opening. So there you see the doors opening, light pouring in. And the camera corrects for the light exposure.
Oh, and then they launched it out.
And then you see the Earth behind there. So there you go.
Oh,
but naturally, people on the internet, like everything serious here, made it into a GIF and said, "Oh, this is you know, the evidence of the CGI studio."
Oh, you. We have another super chat. We have another super chat. Thank you, Fred Harvey. Oh, good question. You guys have the best questions. If there are these worldwide conspiracies, why would any question of it be allowed? That's a pretty valid question. If there's a worldwide conspiracy theory, you'd think that all of the people that are talking out about it, something would happen to them, or
I mean, assassinations of people do happen. We have the Khashoggi situation that happened recently. I mean, that definitely happened, where a guy got killed because he had information that certain government powers didn't want. You would think that if people like, I guess, Shane Dawson here, or Alex Jones, if they had this special knowledge, they would get killed too in the same manner. But no, they're here speaking on the internet because, I mean, they're not dangerous. They're just saying a bunch of dumb shit.
Because everybody's like, instead of like, oh shit, let's stop them. If it was, oh God, they wouldn't be so. I can't even words anymore. All right, Nate, let's go. Let's do it. Let's. Why are we all sheeple? Why Shane Dawson? Look at his face. I don't like him.
I don't know if it's either Shane is incredibly gullible, he's easily misled, or he'll just go along with it because he knows that, well, ratings.
Yeah.
Definitely brings in viewership. These videos rake in tens of millions of views, and it pays off in the end, even if it means misleading people along the way.
With no citations and no counter arguments. And yeah, wow.
Now
Way to use your influence for good.
Who knows? Maybe this is Elon Musk's way of giving us a little Easter egg. Maybe he never actually shot this car into space, because this guy believes in this whole simulation theory. So why does he care about outer space? Maybe that was a little thing to put in there. Like, hey guys, let me give you a little idea. All of this is fake. All this space stuff is fake. You know what I'm saying? This is just a distraction. And then where's the curve? Have you ever seen the curve of the Earth?
Oh, you dumbass.
Oh boy. Now, do you know this show, by the way?
No, what is it?
This is a clip from a show called Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and this character is called Mac, and he's like one of the dumbest people in their group. Well, they're all kind of dumb in the show, but Mac is also an idiot who doesn't believe in evolution in the show.
Does that say bitch over Galileo and Aristotle?
Yeah, so in this clip in the show Always Sunny, he's trying to make the argument that because some scientists in history were wrong about certain topics, therefore all of science is now corrupted. It's like, Shane, this character was meant to be portrayed as, being an idiot. Why are you using him as like an argument for anything?
Oh my God. Okay.
By men you've never met, and you take their words as true.
I mean, they say, well, in an airplane you could see it, but I can't see it. You're at 6 feet tall. I can see about 3 miles ahead of me. And I can see about 20 miles.
6 feet tall, that's good enough for me.
That's right. I should be able to see the curve. I'm like 6 feet tall.
That should be on a t-shirt. I'm 6 feet tall. Where's the curve?
And if I'm standing like on my doorstep, then there's no excuse. Oh my God, I'm dying. Oh my God, I'm dying. Okay. This is 21 million views.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm in the wrong industry. I'm in the wrong market. I should stop being honest and portraying people like no more citations. The Earth is flat, guys. The Earth is flat. The Illuminati.
And now they're talking about airplanes, but yeah, if you're in a plane that's high enough in the air, if you're like 6 miles up or so, I mean, you can see like a faint curvature, but you're not high enough to see like a very significant curvature because they're not high up enough yet.
No, the world is pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
Airplanes are pretty small. Oh, fuck.
Couldn't you make the same argument like, I'm up in an airplane. Where's the ice wall?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I should for sure be able to see it from where I am. Oh my God. I should. Oh no, actually, sorry. On their map, I'm like in the middle. Mm-hmm. How do they explain seasons? How are seasons a thing? Like,
I haven't looked into that argument yet, but I'm sure they have something to go along with it. If not, they're writing it right now as we speak.
I have so many questions.
You see, God comes down and just like throws leaves in the fall on the ground.
How do you explain seasons? Like, why are there only seasons in some parts of the world? Doesn't make any sense. Why do, when I watch I live on the ocean, when I watch a tall ship sail away, I can see it going down over the horizon.
I think the argument I've heard for that one is that it's just getting smaller and it's an illusion and you think it's going over the edge, but it's actually not. But
no, it would just be
it doesn't add up. Like, the evidence goes against everything they say. They have to deny reality in front of them.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I can't words good anymore. I don't even know what to say. It's so stupid. I've never thought of formulating an argument against a flat earther because like why would you, right? That's something that's interesting though, is because I have no idea how to formulate an argument against a flat earther except for, are you dumb? Like, how could you not? How could you not think that it's right?
I mean, they're a small but vocal minority, so I doubt you're going to meet one face to face in real life. But yeah, if you go on certain parts of the internet, you're going to come across them, and they'll have tons of arguments for why the Earth is flat and why it all adds up.
Oh, my friends run non-sex, so I'm sure at one point in my life I'll hit one.
Oh yeah, I think they made a couple of videos where they've debated flat earthers, haven't they?
Oh God, yeah, more than a couple, several, yeah.
Now, what do you think? Do you think that the big players in that group,
Like
do you think they actually believe in it, or do you think it's more just like a financial scheme to
I don't think
dumb people?
I don't think Jaronism believes in it. I think that he's just too far down the rabbit hole. Like he has too much to lose if he says that he doesn't.
I can imagine that being for a lot of people. I think that at some point maybe they realized, hey, this is dumb, but hey, I'm making bank, so I might as well just go along with it anyway.
Yeah, because integrity is just for stupid people, right? Who needs integrity?
Now I play on the sheeple now.
Oh, Nate.
Times taller than what I am. Shouldn't I be able to see about 1,000 times more at minimum? I mean, the Earth is only 24,000 miles around. I should be able to see some kind of a curve. They send hot air balloons up. They just still see the same horizon. So if the Earth is flat, why do people in charge want us to think it's flat? Because on a round Earth, hurling through space at hundreds of thousands of miles an hour, we're not really here for a purpose. We're just here coincidentally because of the Big Bang and the particles and evolution. But on a flat Earth with a dome on top of it, or even just a flat Earth with just the heavens above, all of a sudden we have purpose. Think about if the moon knew your name, how personal you feel with the universe. You know the moon's name, but the moon doesn't know your name. But what if the moon existed solely for you? What if the universe was for you? But instead, the government wants you to feel like it's all unpredictable and at any point it's all going to go to shit because we really don't matter anyways. We're just a rock flying through space. So it just makes us feel insignificant. And the best way to take over people is to create conflict and to get them obsessive over things.
Now, it bothers me that they're talking about a lot of different serious topics, like government overpower, war and famine. And yet they're conflating it all with this absurd flat Earth conspiracy. So I could imagine there are some well-intentioned people out there who want to learn about, the problems of the world, but they get misled down this rabbit hole per se into this conspiracy element of it.
They're throwing all their energy into foolishness. And there's such an issue with science education too, right? So many people, I mean, that they get a science education, like an air quotes science education, but they don't understand source methodology. They don't understand how to advocate for their own understanding of things. They don't understand how to actually look at the sources of the information. And that most, if not anybody outside of academics, understands how to, really carefully critique academic research and understand how to interpret it. And then this type of stuff, like this is easy, right? Like it's an easy quick fix for it. Like it would satiate your mind if you were looking for some sort of quick explanation for an observational theory that you have. This might satiate your mind.
Yeah, because they're just spoon feeding you a simple answer to a very complex topic. And then you think that now you've watched a 45-minute video, now you understand everything. When in actuality, these are very complex topics, and there's many different fields of study to look into, geopolitics and evolution and whatnot, to figure out how all of these different things function. But this video just simplifies it for you and distorts your view of reality.
And it encourages obfuscation too. It's essentially saying, it's not your fault. People are trying to suppress you from thinking that there's a higher meaning for you.
I've heard that people that are or do feel oppressed tend to be compelled in the direction of believing in conspiracy theories.
Because it can give you an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
It can give you an enemy. It can give you somebody that has caused you that. It gives you a reason for those feelings that you may have that you may not be able to attribute externally, even though you want to, because those reasons, especially if those are internal reasons, if you're the cause of your own detriment, sometimes that's difficult to reconcile. And if that's difficult to reconcile, and you can find something external that allows you the opportunity to reconcile it, then that's a quick fix. That's really easy. And if you're not willing to advocate for yourself and take ownership of it, that's a slippery slope. These are dangerous messages to send out, especially in the era that we live in now. We live in an era where it's very, 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 very easy to find something to reinforce any ridiculous opinion that you have about anything. You're always 3 clicks away from reinforcement for whatever foolishness you think might be accurate.
The thing about it too is that, I mean, we say that we live in the age of information, but not all the information we have access to now is true information. Along with the true information, we have a lot of pseudoscience that comes along with it. So sure, I can Google, any topic I want right now and get a whole bunch of results back, but I'm sure that like at least half of them are going to be pure nonsense.
Yeah.
You have to have the tools at your hand to know how to filter through the bullshit and get to the actual science.
And people aren't discerning, right? They just, something affirms their opinion and it seems like it's intuitively accurate and it fits with their initial observations and reinforces something that they already want to believe, or helps to mitigate some sort of feeling they have that things that they don't want to attribute to themselves or their surroundings or their choices came externally. That's easy, right?
I mean, I can remember back in high school, we had to do, a bibliography for an essay, and we had to have at least like 5 sources or whatever. And sure, it is good to promote using sources and citations and whatnot, but we were never really taught how to filter through, good sources and bad sources. So a person could easily use like a Fox News article as a source for a paper on whatever they wanted to talk about. And the teacher would never say, oh, it's a bad source. As long as you had 5, you were good.
Wow. So yeah, so you're not educated on how to be discerning. Oh, we have another super chat before we keep going. Thank you, Darth Atheist. Oh, that's a cool name, Darth Atheist. Paul would love that. How are people this dumb? Is humanity doomed? No, humanity is not doomed, because all of you amazing viewers that are watching this right now are going to be advocates for yourself and other people, and we're going to be advocates for ourselves and other people, and we're going to teach people how to be discerning, and the tides can change. I hate to say the word faith, but have some faith. Enact. Don't just condemn society to being doomed because you see things that you don't like. Be the change that you want to see. So no, society is not doomed. I refuse to accept that.
I would say make your own purpose. You don't need a God or a flat earth to have purpose. Make your own purpose for your own life.
Yes, exactly. Team Nate and Shannon say no. We're going to make sure society is fine. Society is going to be great. I want to believe it. I'm not sure I do, but I want to. We're going to try.
As long as you try in the end, I mean, don't just give up. Don't be a nihilist.
No, God, no. Even though all of us atheists are apparently inherently nihilists, or so I've been told, I guess.
That is the common argument that I've seen from them, is that, oh, how can you, not kill people? I mean, you're all nihilists, aren't you?
Yeah, that or solipsist. We're one or the other. That's the only option. Apparently. We don't have any new ones, I guess, even though we're the most diverse group of people in the world. But yeah, whatever.
Anyway, should I
let's just get through this shit, Nate. Let's do it. Let's go.
To their existence.
It is the biggest leap forward since the original iPhone.
What do you like about Supreme?
The hype and the exclusivity.
So a lot of people are coming for the accessories, especially like the shovel or
Yeah,
the
the shovel
guitar.
is kind of crazy.
Why does everyone want the crowbar?
Because it's a fucking crowbar. Are you fucking serious?
I love that guy.
Think about it. The earth literally grows things out of the dirt that provide you all you need to exist. Why the fuck are we going to McDonald's or to Starbucks or to all the...
Let me go back again and play that again.
I like crowbar guy.
Earth literally grows things out of the dirt that provide you all you need to exist. Why the fuck are we going to McDonald's or to Starbucks or to all?
Yeah, why would you not want to have a farm and raise cattle and spend all your time, taking care of a bunch of land?
Yeah, especially in places where there are seasons where you have to make sure that your crops are good for the whole year and that you can store them for an entire year and keep animals alive and feed all of those animals and have enough food for the animals too. If you're not a vegan or a vegetarian, why wouldn't you want to? Why wouldn't you? Why doesn't everybody just do that? Oh, and if you also have the opportunity to own land, enough land that you can, yes. He has a valid point. Why don't we all own enough land to sustain
Is he a farmer? Does he grow his own crops? No, I'm pretty sure both Shane and his brother go to Starbucks. They go somewhere. They probably buy pizza, and that's how they get their food. They're not all raising cattle.
Oh, God in heaven. But why wouldn't you want more convenient options? And more options in general.
And go, make a profit in an office or making videos and then go to my local restaurant and get food that way. It's a pain in the ass to run your own farm or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Good. Solid argument, Shane Dawson's brother. Good job. Why don't you want to farm?
All these places to spend all of our money.
Oh my God, look at this beautiful drink. It looks so cool. It tastes amazing too.
There was a system built around society to control you within it.
I'm off to McDonald's to see all the boys and girls.
They constantly make you want more.
So now that I'm thinking about that, why is everybody that even thinks maybe there's a possibility of European flat called crazy?
Because it's a way to discredit people. So by them calling you crazy, they discredited everything about you.
No, they discredited that one particular thing about your belief system because there's no basis for it. It doesn't mean that everything you think is crazy, but that particular thing is crazy.
It does lend to maybe. It does kind of lend to maybe thinking that you might not have the best judgment. I'll give him that.
They're skewed if you believe it's probably like a little too open-minded. I mean, being open-minded is good as long as you know how to filter through things and accept information, but be skeptical about the information that you're digesting.
Yeah, don't just let everything in. Be discerning. Do some source methodology. Learn some math. Learn some trigonometry. Think about, don't just propose. That's what gets me too, is they have to you must have to, in order to be a flat earther, you must have to just declare yourself an expert on multiple scientific fields. You would have to. You would have to be an expert in trigonometry. You would have to be an expert in astrology. You would have to be an expert in geology. You would have to be an expert in physics. You would have to become an expert in all of these things in order to be able to counter, everything you've ever learned and what you see in reality and answer all of the questions that people would have for you. Like you'd have to declare yourself an expert in these things and really believe that you were with no reason to, other than delusions of grandeur and self-delusion.
Shannon, maybe you should try getting this guy on your podcast.
This dude, Beard McGee over there,
brother, maybe on the Non Sequitur show and have him debate somebody. I think this would be an interesting character study. Ask him, what does he look at online? Is he going to the Flat Earth page, or what is he getting his information from to come to these conclusions about the world?
Yeah, why is he a weekend flat earther, like you said earlier? Like, why would you even be a 1 hour a week flat earther? Why would you even be a 15-second a week flat earther? It's bananas to me.
Commenters, would you want to see a debate with this guy on Shannon's channel or on Non Sequitur show?
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. All right, let's get through this. We're so close.
Once you find out someone is a flat earther, are you going to take anything they say seriously? And then also, conspiracy theorist is a term created to make people look crazy in the first place. Right. Like, when did we become a society that instead of exploring theories, started calling things conspiracies? Like
it's okay to explore information, but when you look into it and you realize there's no foundation for it, at that point you reject it. You don't just keep believing it after you've debunked it.
What I just heard is, why have we become a society that won't just, explore and accept every ridiculous thing that everybody says, even though it's completely contrary to every scientific field that exists and all of the evidence that we've gathered for thousands of years?
We have a scientific
When
method
did we
for it.
become those people? Why are we like that?
Yeah, we have a scientific method for a reason, so that way we can make sure that there's a good foundation for what we believe in.
So we spent thousands of years accumulating all of this information that taught us that the earth is round and reaffirmed that the earth is round, and then reinforced again and again and again and again and again and again, and gave us all the technology that we have today and the understanding that we have of how the world and everything in it operates today as we understand it now. Why, when some idiot with absolutely nothing to stand on other than a bunch of conspiracy theories comes forth and says, hey guys, NASA lied to us and it's flat because it says so in the Bible, and also you're trying to make us sheep. Why aren't we like, somebody should really look into what that guy said?
But this guy and Shane are a prime example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. They've gathered a small sliver of information, and now they think they're so deep and enlightened because of it.
Yeah, why aren't we like that? Because it would be anarchy. It would be fucking crazy if every time some lunatic came up and was like, God, in a tinfoil hat, and was like, guys, they're putting cyanide in the water to give us cancer. Every time
they're turning the freaking frogs gay.
Why don't we stop everything every time that happens and throw all of our money and our time into making sure that guy's not completely out of his mind, even though it runs contra to everything we already know and have established. And so, why not? You're right. Our society is garbage. He's right. He's right. And you know what? Planet is just playing with the T on it.
That should also be on a t-shirt, yeah. Planet is just playing with the T at the end.
I'm dying inside. Okay. All right, fine. Let's go. I'm fine.
And then all of a sudden, when you started looking up on Google and YouTube about the flat Earth, where 6 months ago, a year ago, it was all pretty cool videos that gave you reasons to believe maybe this is a possibility. Yeah. But now when you Google it, it's all sketches about how stupid it is, or like people are so dumb and I can't believe people believe this. So it's almost, how do you?
Let me look right now. What happens if I were to look up flat Earth? Oh, sorry, I'm messing up here. Flat Earth, what do I get? Wikipedia, Society on Twitter. I get Flat Earth Society is like the fourth or fifth result on there. So I mean, there is some Flat Earth stuff appearing on the first page.
They have a society?
Yeah, they even mention it in the video later on. But I mean, if Google and YouTube are trying to filter out, false information, I'd say bravo to them. We should try to make sure the information people are having access to is actually well grounded in reality. I think that we have a problem in our country and around the world with fake news. So we need to try to combat that by making sure we know the information we're getting is true.
Oh, God. Oh, dear Lord.
Stop information from spreading, you discredit all of it by flooding the information highways with the debunking stuff. Or you're crazy if you believe this. The government actually has a website called the Flat Earth Society.
Did you catch that?
Did he just say the government has a website called the Flat Earth Society?
Yeah, he's alleging that the government runs this website, and his evidence for that, he never provides it. He says, "Oh, the government runs it because reasons."
Yeah, that looks like a super official government website that's not attached to anything else. Oh my God.
I just wonder why he thinks that. Like, where did he get that idea from? Was it from a video or an article? Did he just make it up on the spot?
Oh, is he just like, does he really think this stuff, or is he just saying that this is what their mindsets are, and he's just saying, if you were in their mindset, then this is what you would think? Or
I think it might be like a weird mixture of both. I mean, at the beginning, he kind of said he's like partially flat earther, but he's not like officially one. I don't know how you describe him.
He didn't join the government society.
Borderline flat earther.
No, but that shouldn't even be a thing. Nobody be a borderline flat earther, please, if you're watching this video. I am literally terrified of what the comments on this video are.
Yeah, we can check that out at the end if you want. Some comedy to go through.
To spread bad information. Why would the government put out information to debunk something that's clearly insane? You know, because right when you Google it, if all you see is you're crazy if you believe this, why would you want to look further into that? So it doesn't ever let you get to the point of the theory that really has value. The reason I like the theory, because it puts me in a place that I matter, that I have a purpose.
What?
Sorry, go on.
No, that's not the reason to believe anything ever. Ever. The reason to believe something is because you think that it's true based on the information that's presented, not because it makes you feel like you matter.
But I think this is why a lot of people who get involved in this type of stuff, they embrace it, is because it makes them feel unique. Like I said earlier, when I was 9/11 truther and such, I felt like I had this, like special knowledge. Now that wasn't my sole reason for being one, but that was an element of it, to feel like you're super intelligent for believing in it. So I think that I can understand why some people would fall for it, because it makes them feel important, it makes them feel unique. But yeah, that should not be the basis for anything you believe in.
And it shouldn't be the reason that you feel important or unique too. If that is what you need to feel important and unique, you need to do some introspection.
You need to go to betterhelp.com and get that all fixed.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
The situation, by the way?
Oh, yeah, I know a little bit about it. Yeah.
Fun fact, Shane Dawson actually promoted betterhelp.com in his documentary about Jake Paul.
Sure he did.
Mm-hmm.
Sure he did.
And it turns out that Katie Morton has been a longtime promoter of them as well, going back as far as like 2013. So they're all kind of promoting the same company together, it seems like.
This guy is just made of shit that pisses me off.
This was designed as opposed to just coincidentally happening. That I somehow, have meaning in this, as opposed to I'm a speck of dirt on this planet that's just hurtling through space. Yeah. And they don't want you to feel like that. So that really is what it is. In order to control the sheep, you have to make them feel like there's a gate there. So they constantly keep a gate there. There's videos of sheep that they take out the barbed wire on a gate, and they believe the gate is still there. So they all smash against this area without being forced in by the gate. They've just been trained that this rectangular area that has a gate is where you stay.
And then they cut to a clip of, like, I guess Black Friday or something, but there's literally a fence. There's a wall. They have to go through that door to leave the building or go into the building. There isn't a missing fence. So I'm not sure how that analogy is applicable here.
It's not. It's
great freeze time, too.
But that's just operant conditioning. It's stupid. Jesus.
Go at any point is just they're brainwashed into believing that gate's still there, right? What would they think if all of a sudden they realize there's no gate there, I can run free? What would that do to the sheep herder? The sheep herder has to make those sheep believe that they're stuck there, and their only purpose is to follow him and do what he says. All we are is just getting furred for sweaters and chopped up for meat to eat. Do you know what I'm saying? That's how we're being treated. What are sheep for? Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so now that we've talked about it, do you think the Earth is flat?
100% honest, I don't care about the shape of the Earth.
That isn't an answer. It's just a way to
That is a cop-out. That is a cop-out.
Is the Earth flat? I don't care. Like, you should have a yes. It's a yes or no answer. You're just
Clear no. It's a hard no. It is an unequivocal no. It is all across the board no. I don't care. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
I mean, he just spent like the past half hour or so like giving all the arguments for it and kind of implying along the way that it makes him feel special. And then he just says, I don't care at the end.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
And just before that, he said, the reason I like it is because it makes me feel special. Do you believe it's flat? I don't care. I like the theory because it makes me feel special. But I'm not willing to make a determination as to whether or not the Earth is flat. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. I'm glad you're doing a video on this guy.
But keep in mind, he has I think he has dozens and dozens of videos just like this one, all with millions of views.
Wow.
Like there's the whole playlist right there. So there's a lot of material to work with. I'm encouraging anybody watching, if you have a YouTube channel, make videos about this stuff. It needs to get debunked.
Yeah. Holy shit.
To be honest with you, we're generalizing the theory when we just call it flat Earth. Flat Earth is just one variable. It's just the shape of the Earth. Do I believe that this Earth was designed to have things on it that could have purpose? Yes. So I see myself attracted more to it than I do a Big Bang Theory where people evolved and we're just here because of a cycle and that's pretty much it. And then at any point an asteroid's going to hit us and we're all going to be dust. So I subscribe to the ideology of the flat Earth theory. As far as it being flat, it becomes less and less important.
Wait, how does that make sense? I subscribe to the ideology of it? What does that mean? Isn't the ideology the Earth is flat?
Yeah, the ideology is not only that the Earth is flat, unless he's specifically talking about the ideology that the Earth was created. It was created with us in mind. The universe was created with us in mind. We're all very important. We're the reason anything and everything is here. So we matter. And that's a reason, I guess, to believe nonsense. Oh, yeah, it is. It's a reason to believe nonsense because people do it all the time.
Kind of implied he was a creationist at that point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. At the very least, an old Earth creationist and an old flat Earth creationist at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
Even YECs don't believe in the flat Earth. Even young Earth creationists are like, this is stupid. Even Ken Ham, of all goddamn people, is like, flat Earthers are insane. Don't listen to them.
So, I mean, at least when it comes to, creationists, I mean, like, to research evolution is a lot more time consuming. To research the Earth being a globe as it is, it's very easy to just, do a quick search, find all the images, of the Apollo era of the Earth being round, look at all the schematics of, the physics of why the Earth is round, and then you're done. But I think researching evolution is a bit more time consuming, which is why more people are prone to, believing in creationism.
Yeah.
To me, as I dig into it, what becomes more important to me is why am I here? And why am I here doesn't make sense unless you put it in context that things were created for a purpose.
Well, then I guess if you put it that way, I guess I kind of believe it too. Oh my God!
Shane, what are you doing? And look at that shit-eating grin.
Argument from look at my stupid face. Oh my God.
I guess I believe it too now. It all makes sense.
If it means that I'm important, then I guess I believe it. Because what better reason to believe shit?
He sat down with his brother. He made all the arguments for about an hour or so, I imagine. Like, minus all like the stuff that was cut out of this back and forth conversation. And that's all it took to convince him that this has some sense to it.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I guess if you put it that way, then, maybe the Earth is flat. If it means I'm important and the Earth was created specifically for me, like what other logical reason would there be to believe anything that's ever been presented to you ever? Like the first metric of evidence should be, how important does this make me feel? And everything else falls after that. Metric 1, am I important in this? Metric 2, whatever else reinforces metric 1. That's the way to live your life.
If Shane is just a really ignorant guy, a very gullible guy, on some level, I feel a little bit sorry for him that he's so easily tricked. But if he's knowingly spreading this information, knowing that it's all bullshit, then shame on him. Shame on him. This is not right. Anyway, yeah, the video's almost over. I think like the last few minutes are him just like promoting more of his content and his t-shirts and whatnot.
Thumbs down. Don't care about his t-shirts.
Well, see, but we're not believing it's flat and all this. We're believing that it was created and it's not everything that it's been told to us, right? We're open to acknowledging that it isn't exactly what we've been told. That's all. Right? We're not flat earthers. No. We're not. There you go.
There you guys go. Hopefully you enjoyed those conspiracy theories.
No,
didn't enjoy it. Did not enjoy. Did not. Would not subscribe. Would not subscribe. Oh my gosh. Are you looking at comments?
Here we have someone, I'll zoom in if that's possible, from Tabitha Taylor. I'm not even joking. I'm questioning everything right now.
Oh my God.
Imagine if Shane died of an overdose. That would be creepy, sad, and suspicious.
Wow. 45 minutes. Oh my God, stop spoiling us. Spoiling us. Spoiling us. Government's trying to stop me from the truth. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, stop me if you want me to stop at a comment and read it.
No, Nate. It just hurts. It just hurts because there's so many gullible people, and he exposed nothing contra to it. And if somebody was on the precipice of maybe believing this nonsense and sees his subscriber count and how much, how much sway he has based on the ground he can cover, like the reach that he has, and they could. I just feel like it's negligent. All of this is so negligent. They talk about conspiracy theories and people trying to be controlled and misinformation. They're perpetuating misinformation, knowingly so, or they're ignorant. If they're ignorant, I guess that can be an excuse, but they're contributing to one of, I think, the worst problems that we have in society today, which is the mass inundation of misinformation and people being gullible and not advocating for their own understanding of things, and then thus being able to be swayed by this foolishness.
That's why I want to start covering more of his content. I think that after my video, I want to get out either tomorrow or maybe on Monday or whatever. I want to begin looking at more of his content, maybe like make a full-length video on the video that we just watched, because there's a lot I could go like more in depth about with that video and show why everything is so wrong.
Let me know if you need any help talking about Psychology McGee there and whatever the fuck she was on about. I can help with any of that stuff because now I'm pissed.
By the way, fun fact, that woman was also recently exposed for committing plagiarism.
Even better. Wow. She must be in high academic standing. Good for her. Wow. Oh my God. Yeah. Great crew. Wow. They're doing a really good job of not posting any citations, perpetuating misinformation, promoting people with pseudoscientific backgrounds, completely misrepresenting mental health and helping to contribute to the stigma. I really like this guy. I think that he deserves everything that he gets. That's awful. Thanks for coming and making me super pissed off.
Yeah, as the video progressed, I could tell you're getting a bit irritated with him, and I don't blame you, because I mean, just like it's so there's so many things wrong. Like over every 5 seconds, a new bullshit claim, and there's no counter being provided. There's like no other expert coming in to show, okay, Shane's brother, here's why that thing works that way. Here's why the thing. Now, let me explain things to you guys. You see, I read the Flat Earth page. I know how this all works. You're all just sheep.
Wow, yeah. And I'll even give you an analogy with literal sheep. Just to drive that point home in case you didn't get the allegory, in case it wasn't clear enough that I was calling you sheep. Let's actually make you analogous to sheep.
But don't you know? I'm 6 feet tall.
Why can't I see the curvature of the earth? Why? I should be able to. If I'm just standing in a clear open plain, I should just be able to see where the earth just curves in all directions. That's the way it works. That's the way curvature works. What a nightmare. Like, I really think like the misinformation is what gets me. Like people, especially with these large platforms, like it's just such negligence and selfishness and greed. That you know that these things are going to get views. If you want to use it to get views, sure, whatever, to each their own, more power to you. However, if you're not going to explain the contrary evidence, if you're going to just lead people to a point where they think, oh shit, that's plausible, and then just be like, my mind is blown at the end, yourself as the presenter, maybe I believe it now too. And it all comes down to it gives me meaning, and thus it gives me meaning. We need to have meaning, and that's why it's plausible. That's why it makes sense. So it's an appeal to emotion. via religion, and not any specific religion in that chance, that they allow it to be completely innocuous so that you can attach it to whatever, you know, religion or spiritual meaning you find.
That's the appeal of it too. You can like connect the dots wherever you like to fill in the blanks and make it whatever kind of, you know, special version of flat earth you want it to be. You can say this is about Christianity or Islam. I mean, there are, you know, Muslim flat earthers too. So, you know, make it whatever you want as you go along.
Yeah. And no links, no contra explanation, just proposes it, acts like his mind's blown the whole time, makes stupid looks on his face, and then carries on with his life.
Now, most of Shane's videos on conspiracy theories are more just like, you know, celebrity gossip kind of stuff. It's not the most, you know, threatening misinformation out there. But Shane actually has a video promoting 9/11 conspiracy theories. And that would be an interesting one to go over because he promotes a lot of stuff about, you know, like it must have been thermite in the building that caused the building to collapse. So I think that would be a good one to look into as well, because, I mean, he's like one of the most like popular promoters of that idea out there from what I've seen.
Wow. Okay. Well, thanks for infuriating me. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh, we've gone for almost 2 hours.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing right now. It's been about 1 hour and 44 minutes on here.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning where I am, so I've got to go to bed soon. Quickly for anybody who tuned in late, this is Nate. Nate, please promote your channel before we go, so that people know where to find you, so that they can see how you tear Shane Dawson a new asshole, hopefully sometime next week.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, so my YouTube channel, all my social media is called NateTalksToYou. I usually talk about topics like religion, science. I like debunking misinformation online, as you've seen today. And my next video will be about Shane Dawson and going over one of his videos where he talks about reptilian eyes and stuff like that. So that'll be fun to delve into.
Awesome. And thank you, as always, to my chat people. You guys are always amazing. And all of the viewers who are watching us later, please go subscribe to Nate's channel. Oh, and I'm garbage at promoting myself. I have a Twitter and a Discord and also a Patreon and PayPal or whatever. If you want to support the channel, then yay. And if not, then thanks for viewing, like it and share it, or whatever people are supposed to say on YouTube. Do those things. Thumbs up. Thanks, you guys. Have a good night. See you later.